Today, we're diving into something pretty profound, a practical, science-backed way to find inner peace by, you guessed it, mastering your own mind. Let's kick things off with this amazing idea from Buddha. It totally flips the script on anger. It's not some outside force that gets you in trouble. The anger itself is the punishment. It's like a fire that only burns the person holding it. So, how in the world do we put out that fire?
Well, to figure that out, we're going to go on a little journey together. First, we'll pinpoint our inner enemies. Then, we'll find a solution called introspection. We'll look at the science behind it, see some real-world results, and finally, we'll connect the dots from our own inner peace all the way to world peace.
All right, first things first, we have to define the problem, right? What are these things inside of us that are causing all this chaos and inner turmoil?
So, ancient yogic philosophy actually has this all mapped out. It points to 6 main inner enemies or temperaments that we all have, and you'll recognize these for sure: desire, anger, greed, attachment, ego, and jealousy. Look, these are just part of the human experience. The real question isn't whether we have them, but how we manage them.
And what gives these feelings so much power? It comes down to a concept called Maya, which is basically the illusion that we're all separate. It's that deep down feeling of me versus you. That's the friction, That's the stuff that lets anger, jealousy, and ego run wild.
So if the problem is this illusion of being separate, then the answer has to be about looking inside to find the truth, right? Let's check out a system that's designed to do exactly that. The system is called Simplified Kundalini Yoga, or SKY. Now, this isn't just about twisting yourself into a pretzel. No, it's a whole framework for self-improvement designed to sharpen your mind and give you the tools to really understand and overcome your own weaknesses.
And the main tool in this whole system is introspection. It's literally the art of looking inward. Think of it like a training program for your brain. You learn to go deep, to analyze what your emotions are actually doing, and then you get rid of the bad habits. You're basically refurbishing your mind for a more peaceful life.
But here's the really cool part. This isn't just some ancient mystical idea. This practice of introspection actually lines up perfectly with modern cognitive science. In fact, researchers have given the SKY method a very modern-sounding name: a cognitive regulatory framework. It sounds complicated, but all it means is a structured system for understanding and controlling our own thoughts to make our lives better. It's exactly what yogis have been doing for thousands of years.
And the process itself breaks down into a really simple 5-step model. It all starts with just being aware. You just notice the thought. Then you try to identify where it came from. Third, you classify it. Like, is this thought actually helpful? Is it good? Fourth, you regulate it. You consciously decide what to do next. And finally, the big one, transformation. The goal is to reshape your thinking so that these healthier responses become your new normal. And this is a really important point. This isn't just about damage control when you get angry. It's proactive. It's about upgrading your entire mental operating system for long-term peace, so you can prevent those fires from even starting.
So all that sounds great in theory, but does this stuff actually work in the real world? Let's look at the data and let's focus on one of the biggest inner enemies of them all: anger. Get this. One study looked at working women, a group that deals with a ton of stress, and found they reported up to a 70% reduction in anger after only 6 months of this SK practice. 70%. That's not a small improvement. That is absolutely life-changing. And listen, this wasn't just some random survey. These results were published in a peer-reviewed scientific journal. That means other scientists checked their work and said, yep, this is solid. It gives it real credibility. Here's a super clear example from that study of how this works. Okay, so someone is angry at their son for not studying. The old way is to just blame the son. But using this analysis, they ask, what's my responsibility here? And the answer is, I didn't take care well. See that shift? It leads to a solution. I need to help him more, and I'll be tolerant. It moves you from conflict to teamwork. That's the whole game. And we have to get a handle on anger because the cost of not doing so is huge. Physically, it floods your body with stress hormones. Mentally, it can literally mess with your memory and concentration. And on a deeper spiritual level, it just sucks the life energy right out of you, making real peace impossible. So this brings us to our last stop. We're going to zoom out now from just our own well-being and see how all this inner work can have a massive impact on everything around us. Yogic philosophy talks about something called the genetic center. The best way to think about it is like a deep spiritual hard drive, or maybe even spiritual DNA. It's the core of you, and it records every single thought and action. This means that everything we do either messes up that hard drive or it helps clean and purify it. On one side, you have the things that disturb it: anger, jealousy, hurting others. And on the other, you have the things that purify it: meditation, forgiveness, kindness. Every choice we make tips the scale. And here it is. This is the ultimate payoff. The work we do to clean up our own inner world, to manage our anger and choose forgiveness, it doesn't just stop with us. It creates a ripple effect. It leads to our own peace, which creates harmony in our family, and that contributes to a more peaceful world. So I'll leave you with this final thought to chew on. If it's really true that our inner world creates our outer world, what's the very first thought you're going to choose to analyze? What's the first step you'll take?